Hi everyone, my name is Chatri and I'm a lifelong martial artist and entrepreneur. Before I begin, I want to share with you one of my childhood stories from my grandmaster, my martial arts grandmaster that he used to tell me when I was younger. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful princess. She lived in a magical kingdom. She was smart, she was beautiful, humble, kind, with a heart of gold. And the entire kingdom adored her. She had two bodyguards, the bravest, most fierce, strongest warriors of the entire kingdom to protect her. One day, the three of them decided to take a walk out in the forest behind the castle. It's a beautiful day. The birds were chirping, flowers were blooming. They go for a walk for a few hours, talking and laughing. Suddenly, it gets dark. The clouds come in. And out of nowhere, there is a massive tiger, hungry, angry, red eyes, fangs, massive fangs. The three of them, they freeze. And they think, wow, today is going to be the last day of my life. These two warriors, they were secretly madly in love with the princess. The first warrior looks at the tiger and says, I've been preparing all of my life for this moment. But man, this tiger is so much scarier, bigger, and more ferocious than I could ever have imagined. I'm scared out of my mind. He looks at the princess, he goes, but I love her. She's everything I've ever dreamed about in life. He turns to face the tiger again, and the tiger comes in a little closer. In a split second, he makes a decision. He runs for his life. The second warrior, same thing, looks at the tiger and says, man, I prepared my entire life for this moment. This tiger is meaner, hungrier, angrier than I could ever have imagined, and much bigger. Then he looks at the princess and says, man, but I love her. She's everything I've ever dreamed of. He turns to the tiger takes a step, and in a split second he draws his sword, and he goes to fight. And he gets bitten, and it hurts like hell, but he fights, and he fights, and he fights. And by pure luck, he kills the tiger. And the princess and the warrior, they walk out of the forest. She nurses him back to health. They end up falling madly in love, end up getting married, and living happily ever after. Why do I tell you this story? Because the reality is a hero and a coward, they're no different. They feel the exact same things in life. But it's what the hero does with the fear that makes him a hero. It's what the coward does with the fear that makes him a coward. And whether you want to hear this or not, there is a hero and a coward living in all of us every single day. We all have fears, doubts, and insecurities. Doesn't matter what you do for life. Doesn't matter how high you are, how low you are. We all have fears, doubts, and insecurities. We also have dreams. We have things we love. But the question is, which path are we going to take? Are we going to live a life like a coward and listen to all of our fears, doubts, and insecurities? Are we going to be that warrior, that hero that says, I choose love. I choose my dreams. I choose everything that's sacred to my soul. Today I'm going to be talking about how to be a hero in your life. So I have an unusual job in leading one championship. I surround myself every day with world champions, with fighters, the bravest, strongest, baddest men on the planet, baddest men and women on the planet. And I'll tell you one thing, I've seen world champions before a fight, before a major fight. They're going to go up into the cage, 20,000 people screaming in stadium, 1 billion homes around the world, 118 countries watching live. And backstage, it's 15 minutes before the fight, and they are trembling like little boys, little girls would. They're so scared out of their mind, even though they've trained 20 years, 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, just to get onto the global stage to compete and showcase their art, their skills. But they choose the path. And when their name comes up, they go out, and to everybody, to normal people, the fans from afar, wow, he's a hero. Wow, she's a hero. World champion. The reality is these world champions, in their own way, had to also overcome it. And one of the things I would say, too, is there's this concept called ikigai in Japan. I'm half Japanese. Ikigai means your reason to live. Your reason to live. Why are you here on this earth? I'll give you an example of ikigai. An amazing life story. Eduard Folayang. He's a Philippines' current one lightweight world champion. His life story is very much similar to Manny Pacquiao. Born to illiterate parents, extreme poverty in Baguio. Manual labor since he was a child. His only way out of poverty. He had 9 siblings, 5 passed away because they couldn't afford medical care for his siblings. But through his sheer courage, he had a dream. He had a vision for himself to be a martial artist, to escape poverty, to become something. Last November, he had to fight the greatest fighter in the history of Asia, Shinya Aoki, Japanese legend. He was a 10-1 underdog going into the match. No one thought he was going to win. No one, including me, thought he had a chance. Everyone wrote him off. He went in there and he won by TKO. Incredible story. He fought for his parents, for his children. He just had a daughter, but his family. He fought for Philippines. He fought for so many reasons. That's his why. Why was he put on this earth in those moments? So I challenge all of you guys to think about why are you here on earth? Because we surely can't be here on earth just to buy a nice car, buy a house with a mortgage, just have 3 cars to show off to other people. I like this one quote that says, too many people buy things they don't need to try to impress people they don't care about. Think about that for a second. So many people in this world have a prestigious job, have a big title, but they hate their lives. You have to find your ikigai, your true authenticity, something that echoes in your soul that nobody can tell you. Because here's the thing. When I decided to start One Championship, my mom said, "Chatri, you're out of your mind." She said, "Chatri, martial arts and fighting business is done by mafia. You come from poverty, Chatri. You got to Harvard Business School, got your MBA. You made it out. You're one of the few people who made it out. You became an entrepreneur in Silicon Valley. You have everything in life, Chatri." And I was on Wall Street at the time. I had a $500 million business. And I said, "Mom, this is not my ikigai. I can make millions of dollars, but what am I really doing with my life as a hedge fund manager?" I was buying and selling companies in the stock market, basically what I did. But it wasn't my ikigai. I felt something empty inside of me. And yet my friends, my family, everybody said, "Chatri, don't do it. It's so stupid. Why would you throw your whole current life away for something that is crazy?" For me, I had a very simple thing. Martial arts, I had martial arts for 30 years, all of my life, basically. It got me out of poverty. My family went bankrupt, penniless and homeless from the Asian financial crisis. I was living on $4 a day. My father abandoned the family. And I had my mother and my younger brother to take care of. And martial arts gave me, through thousands of hours of training, martial arts gave me mental strength, courage, integrity, a fighting spirit, a desire for continuous self-improvement, humility, so many different things that martial arts gave me. So I said, Mom, I have to go live my ikigai. I have to go and show the world or express to the world what's inside of my soul. I don't want to be that warrior who ran away from the love of his life because he saw a tiger. Ultimately, when I started One Championship, though, yes, I had as an entrepreneur, I had an economic reason, okay? There are several multi-billion-dollar sports media properties in every region of the world. You go to North America, NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NASCAR, UFC, they're all worth anywhere from $4 billion to $30 billion a piece. You go to Europe, it's the same thing. And English Premier League, Formula One, Bundesliga, Spanish La Liga, all worth several billion to $20 billion a piece. You come to Asia, at the time, there was nothing on a Pan-Asian basis. So I said, but man, Asia is the home of martial arts for 5,000 years. There's a martial art in every single country. It's celebrated, it's a part of our history, part of our culture, part of our tradition. And more importantly, it's my authenticity, it's my ikigai, it's what I was put on this earth here for. It saved my life. Man, if I didn't have martial arts, I would probably be, I don't even know what would happen to me right now. But through the power of martial arts, it gave me that strength to overcome all the adversity in my life. So now my ikigai is I want to unleash greatness in the world through the beauty and the power of martial arts. When people see Edward Falayang's life story, he's a Filipino hero, not just in fighting or martial arts, but in life, because he had to overcome tremendous adversity. He had to overcome so many things to become a world champion, to live his dreams, to provide for his family. That's an inspirational story for all Filipinos. I'm not talking about becoming a martial artist. I'm talking about just life. When you look at someone with a life story like that, you can say, man, I'm a marketing manager. I want to be a VP of marketing. I'm a cement truck driver. I want to own my own company one day. Whatever your dreams are. But if you look at a life story like Edward Falayang, so then that goes back to my ikigai. By showcasing to the world the greatest martial artists who come from amazing, unbelievable life stories of tremendous adversity, tremendous poverty, orphans even. Why? Because why are you a professional fighter? It's because you couldn't get an education, because your family couldn't afford it, because, right, that's why you become a professional fighter. But I wanted to showcase the beauty of martial arts through the life stories of our inspirational heroes. So I have 5 key life lessons that I learned from my world champions, okay? There are life stories, in addition to my own life story of overcoming adversity, living on $4 a day, barely surviving in America, to making something of myself. The first lesson is love. It's so easy to say, love, I love this, I love that. But the reality is, do you dare to live a life of love? Do you dare to put your heart out and put it on the line for your family, for your friends, for your career? Or are you going to allow fear, doubt, and insecurity to close you off and feel numb, so you feel nothing for anybody or anything? And the reality is, if you look at the greatest athletes in the world, the greatest businessmen in the world, the greatest entrepreneurs, the greatest musicians, the greatest anything, you need the power of love to overcome every single obstacle, every single setback, every single failure. Man, if this talk was about failure, I could also talk 3 hours long about all my failures, because I failed so many times in every area of my life. But the power of love is what enabled me to conquer so many setbacks and failures and obstacles that were in my life. If you look at Tiger Woods, you look at anybody who's accomplished anything in life, it's because they love something so much, they're so obsessed, they're willing to do it 12 hours a day, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, obsessed, because they love it. A pianist, a martial arts, it doesn't matter. You have to love something. Why? If you don't love it, and you're in that job because you want to buy a nice Ferrari, you want to buy a nice Mercedes-Benz to show off to your friends, trust me, that willpower is nothing compared to the power of love. The power of love will help you conquer everything, because when you love something, no matter how much you get set back, you'll keep continuing. The second life lesson I would say is success leaves clues. If you want to be a world-class musician, go find someone who's already a world-class musician. You want to be a multimillionaire? Go find a multimillionaire. Success leaves clues. Mentors are a shortcut to success. If you can find somebody who's willing to invest their knowledge, their IP, their experiences in you, that's how you can chase your dreams, achieve your dreams. If you want to be a world-famous actor, nothing is better than going to sit down with, I don't know, Brad Pitt or Al Pacino or whoever, and learn how they learn their craft and how they succeed in their career. Third lesson is greatness. I always say to everyone who works with me, surround yourself with greatness to unleash your greatness. You see, we are all just the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. If your 5 of the people you spend the most time with are lazy bums who just do nothing but, I don't know, party and drink alcohol and do nothing else, you're going to become that. You are. If the 5 people you hang out most are inspiring and they want to go after their dreams and they want to do the same things you want to do in life, that's going to be fuel and energy for you to also keep, and you will become that. I also say, and this is something I learned at martial arts, when I train, I still train every day. I want to improve myself as a martial artist 1% a day. That's the mindset of every martial artist. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, 1% a day. I think that's an amazing attitude to have in life, for work, love, whatever it is. If you can be 1% better father, a 1% better husband every single day, a better mother, a better sister, a better brother, a better son, better daughter, a better entrepreneur, 1% a day. You see, because the power of compounding in math, if you take something and you compound it by 1% every single day, after 70 days, you will double the value of whatever that is. So every day, you should wake up, say, I want to be 1% better in my life. Every area of my life is possible. If only one area of my life, 1% a day. Because you compound that, after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you'll see a whole different you. Lastly, I would say this is, to be the hero of your own life, you need to be a warrior. You need to have a fighting spirit for your dreams, for your loved ones, for what's inside, what's sacred inside of your soul. If you're not willing to be a warrior, you don't deserve success. If you are going to crumble at the first sign of adversity, the first sign of despair, the first sign of failure, the first sign of obstacles, you don't deserve success. Then you're just talking. If you really want to be the hero of your life, the examples are all over society, all over the world. But I guarantee you one thing, anyone who succeeded in anything, in any of their fields, they were a warrior. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.